Hey, this is Amy, and I'm going to give you guys a quick refresher on how to write short answer responses for your final exam. What's in a short question? You guys are going to have to answer 4 questions that are going to be divided into 2 to 3 separate tasks that will be labeled A, B, and C. And each part of your response is going to be graded separately. So it's very important that you label each part of your response A, B, and C, so that way you can get partial credit. And before you actually start writing, I recommend that you read all of the question just to make sure that you are going in the right direction, because there is a big picture to all of these questions. So the way that you know whether or not you get the point for a short answer question is whether or not you have a valid answer. And a question is considered correct if it includes a historically defensible argument in evidence. That means, are you saying stuff that is historically accurate, and do you have evidence that backs it up? Otherwise, if you are just sort of writing without having any kind of evidence, I can't give you credit. So it's very important that whatever you say, you're using evidence like names, dates, key terms, places, that kind of thing. Those all count as evidence. The way that you can kind of remember what you're supposed to do in a short answer question is that you need to ace the question. You need to answer the question, so make sure that you understand what the question is asking and then answer it. Make sure that your answer is citing specific evidence, and make sure that you are explaining your evidence. You can't just like drop your evidence in and be like, yeah, they wrote cuneiform. What's cuneiform? Tell me about it. Where does it come from? Why do we care? Include all of that information in your response. Here's what a prompt looks like. So here you'll see that you're being asked to answer part A and B. And A is asking you to identify and explain one way that the rulers of River Valley civilizations use legal codes to facilitate their rule. So you'll need to identify and explain one way that either any of the River Valley civilizations, the Indus, the Mesopotamians, the Shang dynasty, or the Nile, those are all different river valleys, used law codes. The second part, identify and explain 2 ways that Hammurabi's code reinforced existing social hierarchies. So for this one, you'll have to go back and look at your notes and think about, what are the social hierarchies in ancient Babylon? What was that like? Why did these hierarchies exist? Maybe even reread Hammurabi's code, the portion that we read in class. That would be a good way to sort of be working on a response for that. The second question is a little bit more involved. So this one involves, what you'll see here is a source, right? So it says the source are Sumerian proverbs from the year 2000 BCE, and they're taken from the Internet History Sourcebook, and they were translated by J.R. Arkenberg, the Department of History at California State University at Fullerton. And the translation is, whoever has walked with truth generates life. Wealth is hard to come by, but poverty is always at hand. He acquires many things, he must keep watch over them. The poor are the silent ones of the land. All the households of the poor are not equally submissive. A poor man does not strike his son a single blow. He treasures him forever. So, and this is what the question asks. Use the documents above and your knowledge of world history to answer all parts of the question that follows. So when it says the documents above, it's just the document that is directly above the question. So, part A, identify and explain one political historical event that influenced the content of the clay tablet from Sumer. B, identify and explain one social historical development that influenced the content of the clay tablet from Sumer. And C, identify and explain one effect of either the social or political historical developments identified in A or B above. And again, you'll notice that each one is a separate task. So on your document, you need to label your response, like number 2, and then you have A, and you write your paragraph. And then you have B, and then you write your paragraph. And then you have C, and you write your paragraph. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at some sample responses to kind of help you see what I'm talking about. So just a real basic question about Confucius. What do you think about the killing the wicked and associating the good? Confucius replied, in your government, what is the need of killing? If you desire what is good, the people will be good. The character of the ruler is like the wind, and that of the people is the grass. In whatever direction the wind blows, the grass always bends. Briefly explain how the quote reflects Confucius's ideas on government. And here's a sample response. So, Confucianism placed large amounts of emphasis upon the need for morality in leadership and government, rather than on harsh punishments or retribution. Confucius believed that a virtuous leader, the wind, would naturally earn the trust of the governed, the grass. This is based upon the belief that people have respect for moral leadership due to their upbringing. In his philosophy, the wind blowing in the right direction will inevitably lead the grass will inevitably lead to the grass doing the same, given that the grass trusts and approves of the wind. So here you'll see that the author of this short answer did a good job of explaining what Confucianism is about. And then what they do is they take apart this quote in the question and they explain how the leader is like the wind, how the governed are like the grass, and how this attitude of the leader being the one who directs the behavior of those below them is reflective of Confucian principles. It's a really nicely done answer. Okay, so now we'll take a look at question number 4. Question number 4 was asking about the relationship between the caste system and reincarnation in Hinduism. And here is the response. According to the beliefs of Hinduism, each layer in the caste system comes specific dharma, or way of life, including duties, rights, social interactions, etc. The ultimate goal of life in Hinduism is to achieve moksha, or to escape the cycle of reincarnation, samsara. The duty and the method by which one could achieve this goal was to follow their dharma, their caste duty. Someone following their divine and implicit dharma would get them better karma, justice, consequences for all actions, and therefore unification with Brahma, one force for all things in life. Essentially, the Hindu concept of reincarnation, samsara, and the related goal of moksha. So what's really nice here is that the author of whoever wrote this response was able to go through and explain what each of the key terms that they're using means. Samsara, dharma, karma, Brahma. So that way they are giving you a full answer, but you also know as the reader that they know what they're talking about, which is really well done, and I quite like. So if you have further questions, please let me know. I am happy to help. Thanks.